Then they said to him, we think this is the finger of God. So that's to say, this is the power of God. This is the finger of God. All right. That's important. Then if you go to St. Luke's Gospel, chapter 11. I want to read to you from Jesus was teaching them some stuff. Let me read to you from verse 14. And he was casting out a devil, and it was dumb. In other words, it was a dumb spirit. Now, often, an evil spirit, when he enters into someone, he brings in his own character. So, a dumb spirit will make someone dumb. So, and that's exactly what happened to this fellow here. And he was casting out a devil, and it was dumb. And it came to pass, when the devil was gone out, the dumb spake, and the people wondered. Verse 15. But some of them said, he casted out devils through Beelzebub, the chief of the devils. They're saying the spirit behind Jesus is Beelzebub, the chief of the devils. Now, King James translation uses the word devils, demons in most translations. So, because sometimes some people say, what's the difference between devils and demons? I say King James. All right, next verse. And others tempting him, sought of him a sign from heaven. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because ye say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub. And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by a do your sons cast them out? Therefore shall they be your judges. Now, look at what he says next. But if I with the finger of God on them was written, according to all the words which the Lord spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. That's the one I was telling you about yesterday, when God assembled them and spoke to them from the fire. See, the Bible says from heaven he made them to hear his voice, and he spoke out of the fire. So he spoke from heaven and he spoke from the fire, and he gave them commandments. And God is wonderful. Not only did he give them these commandments, he followed up by putting the commandments in writing. Yes, sir. That's from God. Yeah. Gave them instructions and followed up, making sure it was written. Yes, the guy broke it. Moses got the tables of stone broken. Carve it out yourself. Because God prepared the first one. Yes, and Moses broke them. So God said, now you go get your own stones. Go do it yourself. Then he did that. When he brought them to God, the Bible says God wrote them. Wow. Well, that's so kind of him. Wonderful. And the Lord delivered unto me the 2 tables of stone written with the finger of God. And on them was written, according to all the words which the Lord spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. So this is what he's alluding to in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse number 3. Let's go back there. For as much as ye are manifestly declared, ministered by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tables of stone, but in fleshy tables of the heart. Okay, verse number 3. Let's go back there. For as much as ye are manifestly declared to be the epistle of Christ, ministered by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tables of stone, but in fleshy tables of the heart. Okay, now, oh dear, take you into the verses that will help you understand this a little more. So for us to get this, can you go to verse 4? Observe what he's saying. And such trust have we through Christ to Godward. Come on, next verse. Not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency. That means our hekanotis, our competence is of God. So I don't depend on my human competence, but on a divine competence. How can I depend on a divine competence? I gotta have something that is divine in me to depend on, so that I can rely on a power beyond myself. So it says, not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency, our competence is of God. Our ability is of God. So look at it. But there's more. Go to the next one. Who also hath made us able ministers of the New Testament. Hey! Do you understand what he's talking about? Able ministers of the New Testament. Not of the letter, but of the Spirit.